Well, here we are. We're at the part of this thing where I'm supposed to give summer to Matt. But real quick before we do that, I've got a few things I want to say to Matt, and so like I said, it won't take me long. Let me just do this real quick. Well, Matt, the last few months, buddy, it's been all about summer. What she wanted, what she didn't want, and how she wanted the wedding, and so right now, just for these few minutes, man, I want to make it about you, Matt. And like we said, we're the part of this where I'm supposed to give you summer, but dude, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna give her to you. I'm gonna share her with you, Matt, because Matt, she's my baby, and she'll always be my baby. But Matt, I've got no reserves. I've got no doubts, no fears to share her with you. And just real quick, I want to tell you why. Well, Matt, when she was a little kid, she always wanted to hold my hand. No matter where we went, she would hold my hand. And the older she got, it got to be where it wasn't cool to hold Daddy's hand, so she quit doing it out in public. Around the house, she still would, or if we were, where nobody could see us, she would still hold my hand. But then, of course, the older she got, she didn't. But something I always noticed, Matt, if she ever got scared, if she was ever hurt, she still wanted to hold Daddy's hand. Because she felt safe, because she felt protected. Well, Matt, a few months ago when she was having trouble with her mouth and everything, she had a procedure scheduled, and about 2 weeks before it, she asked me, she said, "Dad, can you take off and go with me?" I said, "Sure, Summer, I'll go with you." Well, then the night before it, I was there in my room, and she came in. She said, "Oh, Dad, I forgot to tell you, it's Matt. He's off work, and he's going to carry me over there, but you can still go if you want to." And I'm like, "Baby, if you need me, I'll go. If you don't, we're not going to, don't worry about it." And she said, "Well, I'll be okay. Matt's going to go with me." So I had already took off work, so hey, I stayed at home that day. And so I was sitting there in a chair, and I saw y'all pull up in the yard, and I opened the wood door, and I could see out the glass door. I could see y'all. And you walked around to the car, and you reached in, and she took your hand, and you got her by the elbow, and you walked her the sidewalk up to the steps. But I noticed, man, you were watching her feet, you were watching her, you were watching her face. You was making sure she's okay. You wasn't going to be there and pick her up if she fell. You were going to keep her from falling. And so, Matt, that showed me right then how you felt about her, how you cared about her, and how you would be there to protect her and make sure she's safe. And then also I saw how she felt protected and how she felt safe with you. And it done me good, man. Well, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, when she was real little, her and Casey, they loved I Love Lucy. They would sit in their rooms and they would watch it. They would get so tickled, and I just loved to hear them laugh. It was that laugh like nobody else was in the world. It was just them. And it was just so loud, so funny, just from the gut. And a lot of times I would get up and I would go stand in the hall next to the room they was in just to hear it, because I loved to hear it. One thing I noticed it with both of them. But as they got older, you didn't hear that laugh as much. As the stress and the pressures of this whole rough life as it came, that laughter left. And then with Summer, I she started going to college and working and doing all that. I hadn't heard that. Hadn't heard that in a long time. But one night I was in there watching a ball game and I heard it. Oh, that's nice. Next night I heard it again. So I got up and I went and stood in the hall by her room, and she was just laughing. I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet to hear it." Well, the third night in a row I heard it, I'm like, I wonder if she found I Love Lucy on the TV or maybe some other show she's watching. So I'm like, I'm going to go in the room and see what it is. Well, I went in the room and there was no TV on. And I could see her phone was lit up. And she's like, "Yes." And I said, "I'm just making sure you're okay." She said, "Oh, I'm wonderful." I said, "Okay." So right then I knew there was a new guy. I knew there was a guy she was talking to. So right then I'm like, "Oh, I hope he's good. I hope he's good. I hope he's good." Well, a couple of weeks later I found out it was you, Matt. And I'm like, "Yes." Because Matt, the first time y'all dated, dude, I was pulling for you. I had told Summer then, I said, "Summer, I see him out here on some wrecks and stuff that we worked together." And I said, he's a good guy. I said, it's always yes, sir, no, sir. I said, when he talks to me, he shakes my hand, he says, Mr. Barry. And I said, I've noticed out here working these wrecks and stuff that he does what has to be done. A lot of times they're just folks standing around watching. But it doesn't matter if it's something big or if it's something little. Matt jumps in and makes sure it's done. And I told her, I said, Summer, you won't find many guys like that. Then the third thing, Matt, why I know you're going to take care of her and why I don't mind sharing her with you. When you came up to the house and talked to me, I was just as nervous as you was. But I don't really remember a whole lot we said, but I remember one thing when we were talking, you said, Mr. Barry, it's just a God thing that we're together. Man, I had prayed a lot for a man to come into Summer's life, one that would love her for who she is, one that would protect her, one that would keep her safe, and one that would help her in her relationship with God to grow closer to Him. And I see that in you, Matt, and that makes me happy. So the three things real quick. I've seen you in action. I know you're not going to be there to pick her up when she falls. You're going to be there to keep her from falling. I've heard how you make her laugh. You make her happy. And you told me out of your own mouth it's a God thing. So Matt, I have no fears, no reservations, nothing that wouldn't make me want to share her with you. So we're going to get on with this thing, and I'm going to turn her over to you. She's still my baby. She's yours now to love and to take care of. There's one last thing I want to say, Matt. I sure am glad that farmersonly.com thing didn't work out with you. Because we had a... we might not be here today. Love you, buddy. I'm looking forward to calling you son.